Hi, my name is Matthew White, and in this video, I'm going to talk about a forgiveness interview I conducted with an adult about a personal conflict involving a family member. The purpose of this assignment was to better understand how forgiveness works in real-life situations and how it can impact relationships and emotional well-being. This person I interviewed described a conflict with their brother. They had lent them money when he was going through a difficult financial situation, and he promised to pay it back over time. But after making a few payments, he stopped and didn't check in and didn't explain why he wasn't doing that. At the same time, the person noticed him spending money on non-essential things like vacations and stuff that wasn't helping him in his difficult financial situation, which made this whole situation more frustrating. Because of this, the person felt very disrespected, especially since their brother didn't acknowledge that he still owed money. This led to a growing resentment. Over time, the relationship became strained and they began to avoid conflict, including not wanting to see him or answer their phone calls, which can lead to a series of bad things. After several years, this person began to reconsider this situation. They realized that no amount of money was worth losing a relationship with a family member. Because of this, they made the decision to think of a loan as a gift of something that needed to be repaid. So instead of the money getting involved, since this was a family member, they didn't want to go down a bad road of things. So this person gave their money to their brother during this time as a gift, thinking it was for something else instead of this, so it didn't lead to bad things. They also described this feeling as a physical sensation from the resentment, including stress and discomfort that they tried to avoid. This made them question whether forgiveness would help them feel better. Through self-reflection, they realized that they had been using money as a symbol of respect. However, they came to understand that their brother likely wasn't intending to be disrespectful, but instead how important it was to them to follow through on commitments instead of going behind their back. Eventually, they decided to communicate directly with their brother. During the conversation, they explained that they were tired of the distance this situation created because that person felt disrespected. They told him that they were forgiving the loan both literally and figuratively, meaning they no longer expected repayment and were also letting go of the emotional hurt and feelings that they felt disrespected. In response, the brother he apologized, he felt sick to his stomach, and he had this sense of embarrassment about not being able to repay the loan or explain why. Over time, his embarrassment made it harder for him to address the situation, so we chose to avoid it completely without making it worse. This conversation was very effective, and both individuals felt a strong sense of emotional relief after talking it through. The person I interviewed explained that resentment played a major role in the conflict. They had been equating the lack of repayment with a lack of respect, which caused stress and created emotional distance in the relationship. Once forgiveness and apology took place, that stress was released. They described the feeling as similar to air being released from a balloon. They also emphasized that a meaningful apology was very important. What made the apology effective was that it included key elements as acknowledging the wrongdoing, taking responsibility, and explaining what happened, and being genuine. All of these elements help apology feel real and allow them to fully accept it. This experience connects closely to what we learned in Chapter 10 about forgiveness. One key concept is that forgiveness reduces emotional stress and improves well-being, which was clearly shown in this situation. The person experienced both emotional and physical relief after forgiving their brother. Another important concept is that a sincere apology plays a huge role in the forgiveness process. Chapter 10 explains that apologies are more effective when they include responsibility, acknowledgement, and explanation, all of which were present in this situation with the loan. From this interview, I learned so many things, but what I really learned was that holding on to resentment can negatively affect both emotional and physical health. It can create stress, a sense of discomfort, and it can damage relationships over time. On the other hand, forgiveness allows a person to move forward and experience relief so nothing bad happens down the road. So one important takeaway that I wanted to address is that if in stuff like this, you want to address it sooner than later so people don't get amped up and really, ticked off. I also learned that forgiveness needs to be genuine in order to fully benefit both people. Overall, this interview showed me that forgiveness not only helps repair relationships, but also improves a person's emotional well-being. So the whole thing was, the person I interviewed lent some money to their brother, which is a family member, because he was going through a difficult financial time. And he didn't pay back after the couple months that they agreed on. He was going on vacations, just buying stuff, and once they were able to talk it out, then everything was able to continue forward. So the whole thing that I learned basically was, if I was in a situation with a brother, I would have addressed it sooner and I would have moved past, because at the end of the day, I am the one that I know I did right and he learned his lesson, and I don't want to ever damage a relationship with my family member. And the last thing I wanted to say is sorry that I am in an open area. I am in an airport. I am traveling, so I wanted to get this interview before I was going on my next flight. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this interview, and thank you so much for tuning in.